Hey, welcome to another episode of The People of Music. I'm lucky enough to be in Brisbane for Big Sounds for a couple of nights. I've got a really special guest today, or tonight. I'm going to talk to Jack McDonald. He's the singer from Cast Down. These boys are up playing a couple of shows, one Wednesday night at the Zoo, one's Thursday night, and then flying home on Friday. Jack's an interesting fella, and I really hope that you get to know a bit more about him, and I hope you enjoy hearing about his story. G'day, Jack.
How you doing?
Thanks for your time.
Oh, nice.
Thanks for coming on.
It's all good.
What have you been up to this last week?
Not much. Just work, uni, getting ready to come to Big Sound.
Yeah, right. You said when we spoke last week you'd nearly finished uni?
Yeah, I'm nearly finished uni, hopefully. I should have one unit left next trimester, but they might not schedule it.
Have you got an internship or anything lined up, or just straight out?
I've been doing an internship for the last 4 months now, probably. That's going really well.
Yeah, sweet. Who's that with?
DRW Entertainment.
Okay.
They do heaps of tours, heaps of, all kinds of bands, and not just bands, like they just toured the big Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Q&A, so they're doing heaps of cool stuff, and it's fun to be out.
And what do you do? Are you doing scheduling, marketing?
I'm doing heaps of stuff, really. A lot of record stuff. The dude David used to run Shock Records. So I've been doing a lot of back catalogue stuff with that.
Yeah.
Last week I spent logging Ricky Lee CDs and all the category numbers.
She's got a few.
Yeah, heaps. Took ages, but it's pretty good. It's good. And it's fun being there.
Definitely. Well, do you reckon you'll transition? Like, will they give you a gig when you're finished, or what's your plan?
I'd like them to, but it's a tricky industry to get into,
Yeah.
It's kind of like there's not a lot of jobs
Who
going
you
around.
know and
And it'd be good if things worked out and, someone, there was a job available, but if not, I'll sort something out.
Yeah, sick. So, where did it all start for you? Have you always lived in Melbourne?
Yeah, my whole life. It's pretty boring, uneventful childhood, really. To try and say in a story, I've just always lived in Melbourne, around, suburbs around Melbourne.
Yeah. Which side?
Southeast, mostly.
Southeast, yeah.
I live in, until now, actually. I just moved out. Now I live...
Your Footscray Way or...
Oh, higher than
west?
that. I live in
north.
this place called Beveridge.
Yeah, okay.
Which is like a real small town, but it's real nice.
Yeah. Are you on the train line, or like the Essendon train line?
Yeah, I am, but I get the V line.
Okay.
So I get the cruisy, big seats.
Straight in.
Yeah, which is good.
What do your parents do for work?
Mum, she's like I'm really poorly describing this, but like a physio for old people.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Which is a terrible explanation, but that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Dad works at Suncorp.
Yeah,
he used to work at like Amy and Just Cars and all those.
Okay,
car
finance.
Yeah, exactly. Car insurance.
So growing up, music-wise, were they into anything at all?
Mum always was. Mum was really into music. Specifically Robbie Williams. That's like all. That's like all I really listened to when I was young, that I can remember listening to. And it wasn't until I was kind of like getting into music, like 15, 16, that I realised that she'd really like music. Like I started listening to bands like The Cure and The Smiths and those kind of rock bands, and she was telling me about how she listened to that.
Yeah, right.
25 years ago.
Do you remember how you first heard, say, The Cure, for example? Was it literally like you were at school with your mates and one of them were like, oh, my parents listen to this, here's a CD, or had you seen something on YouTube, or was there, what was the influence?
Not The Cure, but in terms of that CD thing, in primary school I had a mate, and he's kind of what got me into heavy music, but he gave me a burnt CD once, and it just had all these bands like System of a Down, Slipknot, Metallica. I was 20, and he gave me that, and I was This is sick.
Yeah.
And he had like a track listing written up, and they were all wrong. Like, that cover Metallica do of the Queen song, Stone Cold Crazy, that was labelled as System of a Down, and I thought that was System of a Down for like a year and a half, until I like bought that Metallica covers album.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've heard this song 100 times, and it's not System of a Down.
Yeah, right. So from there, then had you played an instrument or done anything like in high school? Were you doing music?
In like year 5 or 6, I learnt guitar.
Okay.
Through school.
Yeah.
The dude who taught me was one of the guitarists of the Road Traders.
Oh, really?
That Voodoo Child band, but he wasn't. You know how like
Natalie
if you go and see
Bassingthwaight.
Green Day,
Yeah.
there's supposed to be only 3 of them, but there's like 6 guitarists behind.
Session music.
Yeah. He was one of those dudes, so he'd go out
really?
and tour with them and record in the studio, but you'd never see him in like videos
Yeah,
and stuff
right.
like that. But I think it was a pretty crazy gig for him.
Yeah. So was he a teacher at school?
Yeah,
or
no, he was like a
just
special.
brought him in?
Yeah, he was like a special guitar teacher.
Wow.
So he probably got paid heaps.
Yeah, that's special.
Yeah.
So were you just like, was he teaching the whole music curriculum, or was it this guy's going to teach you guitar for the term and then you spend time?
Well, I did it for like 2 years. I stopped doing it when I got to high school, and that was like it was only me and him. There were never other people in the class.
Okay, so one
they were like
tuition.
one private things,
Yeah,
which
right.
was good.
Was he teaching you rock songs, pop songs, or is it like classical scales?
At the start, it was stuff like that. Like I remember having to do, you'd have like musical nights at school, and I had to do like Mary Had a Little
just
Lamb,
compositions,
stuff like that. But then once I got okay at it, you could like ask to do songs, and if they weren't super hard, I got to do those.
Yeah, cool.
Which is cool because it made me want to keep learning to an extent.
Did you play anything else? Keyboard, drums?
Nah, I couldn't do anything else really. Even now I could hardly play guitar because I haven't played in ages.
Yeah.
I used to be okay at it, but now I would have no clue. Like if I wanted to start playing again, I reckon I'd have to learn pretty much
From
everything
scratch.
re-over.
Basic.
Because once I like the end of primary school, I just stopped really. I just kind of lost interest in it.
Musically, say from when you were like 13 to when you were like 18, 19, what progressed? What changed? Were you still listening to Metallica and System of a Down?
Yeah,
after school.
Yeah, because like in all my mates and like in our scene and stuff, everyone has that like embarrassing metalcore phase, which isn't embarrassing anymore. But when you're like 17, 18, no one wanted to cough up for listening to A Day to Remember and Amity and shit all the time. Yeah. But now it's like, everyone loves it again. Yeah. But I didn't go through that until like 2 years ago, because I was always into like metal. I was one of those like teenagers that would argue on the internet about how shit Suicide Silence were and stuff, and that's not Slayer. Yeah. But it's stayed pretty continuous, really. Like, now is probably like the laziest I get with music. Like new music, I just can't really be bothered.
Don't chase it.
Yeah, anything that has a really big chorus that you can sing to, I'm like super into now.
Yeah, right.
Which is.
Have you ever gone back, like say in the last couple of years? Do you go back, like to the 60s, 70s, like pop stuff, or you literally, like whatever's on your Spotify or like playlists and stuff?
Yeah, I try and listen to playlists on Apple Music just when I can't figure out what I want to listen to, and like. If me and mates hanging out or whatever, it's easier just to put on something that someone else has put 100 songs in there, rather than, because you hang out with your mates and you're like, someone's grabbing the phone that's connected to the speakers, and it's like don't. So that, I don't know, 60s, 70s. I got really into the Beatles last year because my girlfriend really liked them, and I never really listened to them. Yeah. And I started and I was like, this is mad.
Yeah, but, legit pop songs.
Yeah, but apart from that, I don't know. Not really.
It can get that way, I think, like when there's oversaturation. Yeah. I think when you're around music so much, you're like, just want like a bit of a cleansing of the palate. And then
especially like playing in a hardcore band, and we play shows and I watch, 4 or 5 other hardcore bands. Yeah. Like, if I'm driving home or whatever, I don't want to listen to
listen to
that
anything
at all. It's like whenever we tour and someone's driving and they're just playing the kinds of bands we're playing with, and it's like, this is awful.
Yeah, that
like
does my
anything
head
else.
in too. Yeah.
Our guitarist always does it, and he listens to the worst music ever. Not really, but
This is Gerb.
yeah, Jerb. You know, it's the stuff he thinks is good, which is fine. But
Rogue Traders or
nah, I wish. That'd be-
heavier?
Nah, it's like, you know, Pennywise and Madball and
Oh yeah.
stuff like that, which is,
That was
you
cool.
know, fine, but I don't want to listen to
Yeah,
Madball and-
fully.
all, you know, hardcore bands that
Yeah.
we just played a show with.
Yeah, true. When did you realise you could sing?
I can't sing. I just wanted to be in a band, really. And musical instruments aren't my thing.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, I reckon I could, like, you know, yelling bands is what I listened to at the
Yeah.
time, and I still do. But that was just what I thought I could do.
Yeah.
And so I started doing it, really. Probably
When did that? How old were you?
like the year after high school,
Yeah, okay.
2015. I graduated in 2014. So 2015, I reckon, we started like pracking, and then 2016 we actually made some music.
And is
Put it
that Cast Down, the dudes
Yeah.
you're with right now?
out. The band, but not the dudes. Apart from Chris,
Okay.
everyone else is, you know, come and go.
Yeah.
Because we started, the five of us, the other four had a band called Shelbyville,
Yeah.
who were like a pop punk kind of band, and they played some shows, and then they kind of died down a little
So
bit.
who was in that? Jared,
No, Chris was the only one
Chris.
that is still around.
Okay.
But we were all just high school mates. We all went to high school together.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, like we should start a heavy band, and they were like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then we put the music out, and then like two of them straight away realised they didn't want to be in a band that played shows and stuff.
Okay.
So we've gone through like 2 guitarists and 2 drummers.
Yeah, right.
But at the moment, the 5 of us is good.
You've been strong.
Yeah, so no
for
one's left.
How long? 2 years?
Yeah, just before that Staunch tour. Well, Todd came in on that Staunch tour, really.
Because I remember when we played with you at Phoenix, I think Jake Zammit was playing
Jake
drums.
was in. Yeah, he was in the. Yeah, that was because he left right after our first tour, and that was like the month after that.
And then when we played in Adelaide, I don't know whether that was the year after or something, but that's when first met Todd in
Yeah.
that pub when we were watching the footy.
Yeah.
And then he's been with you guys since.
Yeah, because we played a show in like March of last year with our mate Dan,
Okay.
and he was just filling in, like he wasn't going to join or anything.
Yeah.
And then we booked another one, and he was going to fill in again.
Yeah.
And then after we'd like agreed to the show and stuff, he realised that he couldn't do it, and we were like, oh shit, this is bad.
Yeah.
And so I think Jerb made a post in like the Melbourne City Hardcore group, being like, you know, looking for a drummer to fill in for a show.
Mm.
And Todd's mate replied to it, I'm pretty sure, and was like, I can't, but you should hit up my mate Todd and see if he can.
Sick.
And Todd could, and he came to prac and it was all good. And then we played the show and it was all good. And then we had that tour like 6 weeks later or something.
Yeah.
And we're like, you know, we haven't hung out much, but like, do you reckon he'd do it? And he was like, yeah. And it all went well.
He's pretty cruisy dude, eh?
Yeah, he's super chill.
How'd you meet Chris?
Me and Chris went to high school together, and we played footy and cricket together.
Yeah, right.
So in like, we would have met through cricket first, I reckon,
Yeah.
and then like the year after, because he was a year below me at school.
Okay.
So he came into my school, and then I reckon I started playing footy that year with him as
Yeah,
well.
wow. What's your footy club?
Devon Meadows.
Yeah, right. How long since you played?
Oh, ages. Oh shit.
Just to school or?
Yeah. Like year 10, I reckon I started.
Yeah, okay. What about cricket?
Yeah, cricket I finished the year earlier because I was even worse at that. I hated playing cricket. Footy was at least fun because you go
Yeah.
to training with your mates and like even when you played
Run
it
around.
was still pretty fun.
Yeah.
But cricket, like when you're standing there for 50 overs
Yeah.
and you don't want to be there.
Nah.
it's
Mental
shit as.
game.
Yeah,
Mental game.
yeah. And I was shit at it, so you know.
So you met Chris and then this band, and then talk to me about met Chris, had this other pop punk band, and then started Cast Down. How did it play out from there? So, when did Jared come in and play guitar?
So we had our mate Mark started on guitar, and then like right before the first show, he was like, "Oh, I don't really want to do this," and we were like, "Shit." So we got Pat to fill in, but he didn't really want to join because he had Sheltered going at the moment, or at that time.
Yeah.
And we had a drummer, Geordie, who played one show, and then he was like, "I don't really want to do this," and that's when we got Jake to fill in. And then after he filled in for a show, we didn't think he'd join because he was in like 100 bands.
Yeah.
And someone threw it out to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll join." And we were like, "Alrighty, let's do this," because he's a sick drummer.
Yeah.
And then we had another guitarist, Bo, who you might have met because he was on our first tour.
Okay.
When we played at the Phoenix Arts Centre here.
Yeah.
And then a bit after that, once Jake left as well, he was kind of didn't want to do it anymore. So then Pat was just gonna like play around for a bit, and then he ended up joining as well.
Yeah, right. So did Sheltered finish and then he joined Cast Down, or was there like a transition?
I'm trying to remember when Sheltered's last show is. From what I know, they're still
kicking around.
Yeah, they're gonna do stuff eventually, just when things work out.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I think it was after, because they played a show with Endless Heights. I couldn't tell you when.
Yeah.
Sometime last year.
No, that's cool.
But yeah.
How did you? So did you know Jared before Cast Down?
Yeah, I reckon I did. I knew like Pat, and they were mates, like they're mates together.
Yeah. And
I knew Pat just through like Facebook and going to shows.
Oh yeah.
And it was kind of a mutual thing, and then I met him through Pat.
Yeah, sick. What's like, say around that time Cast Down started, what was happening locally? Like what kinds of shows were you going to? Were you like a Lair, Phoenix Centre hardcore crew, or what else was going on?
When was it? So this was like the start of 2016. I was going to heaps of stuff really. That was, Lair shows, Wrangler shows, Phoenix Youth Centre shows. I started going to like Bang and kind of 18 plus shows at the Tote and stuff like that. Yeah. Pretty much everything that wasn't like, expensive big shows really. Yeah, right. Whatever my mates would go to.
Local stuff. Yeah. Have your mates that you were hanging out with then, like, are they still going to shows? Has it flowed on, or do you notice like dudes dropped off?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like, our friends group work. It's kind of like come and go. You have people that are close mates for a while, and then they'll start doing other shit. But like the group that we have now, which we all go to shows together, like every few weekends or whatever.
Is that pretty much Cast Down plus some others?
Yeah, or? Like the people you would have met, like Jake and or Action Man. Yeah. Like Ash, Bowers, Liam, sick. Mark, those kind of dudes. That's pretty much like our group, really. Yeah, cool. And we still go to shows all the time together. Whatever, if one or two people are going, then chances are other people will go just hang out.
Duck in.
Yeah, see who else is playing.
Yeah, the scene's pretty cool. I was talking to Lewis about it before. Melbourne is kind of changing a bit. Like there's a bit of a new guard coming through. There's like people are pushing boundaries a little bit. Yeah. As opposed to. It
was kind of in like terms of like straight hardcore. It was like almost dead for a little bit because we had like all the big bands, like Iron Mind and Born Free and Thorns and Warbrain, like all all the big dogs, and then they either dropped off a bit or started not playing shows regularly, and it got kind of like there was only really metalcore shows to go to, but now there's a like pretty good resurgence of like hardcore bands popping up, which is good because it's kind of like a new wave of Melbourne hardcore.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is good.
Have you had any mentors, say like, even if you think back, like when you very first started Cast Down, and this is like band related but also music related, like other than your parents, whether it's a friend or like, have you ever had anyone you've been like, oh man, if I've got questions to ask, I'd go.
Not until recently, really. Like now, I can owe a lot to Housey, Josh
Yeah,
House,
right.
just because I bug him all the time for advice, and I'm lucky enough that he gives it back. But
Yeah.
kind of at the start, we weren't really. You know how a lot of bands start and they're mates with like big promoters in the scene or whatever.
Yeah.
We weren't really in the position that we were like close friends with anyone, so it was kind of, we take what we could get. Like
Started to grind it.
Yeah, Lair gave us some shows at the start, which was awesome, and they're really good dudes. And then once Jerb came on, because he'd been booking his own shows for ages, and I used to book shows once in a while. And then once Jerb came on, we were just like, if we want to tour, we have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Kind of like prove your worth to bigger promoters that you
Fully.
can, people outside of your own state like you.
Yeah.
And it's only really until we put out Leatherman, and then a couple of people started talking to us, and taking a bit of notice, and now we have a few people that we could hit up for advice if we wanted it.
So what do you get out of Housey, as in advice wise? Are you asking him, what are you asking him? What do you get out of him that you wouldn't get out of anyone else?
I don't know, really.
When to tour?
Yeah, it's just bringing that business mind to the music.
Yeah.
Because, there's so many good bands that don't, that aren't really noticed, and people don't give a shit because they're not smart. Like, they don't put out things when they should, and they don't play the good shows and stuff.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. And, like, when you talk to bigger bands, like successful bands that make a bit of money, it's the business side of things where they say, this tour would be awesome to do, but we're not going to do it because we can do this tour and it get us better opportunities.
Yeah.
It's all that kind of thing that I think it's really, you don't even think about it until you start getting told it, and you're like, oh shit, like we've done all this wrong for the last like 2 years.
Yeah.
But I think that's important too, to have that time to fend for yourself and learn things the hard way. Because a lot of bands come up and they're like, when I started Cast Down, I wanted everything to be like perfect from the start. Like, you have 6 shows, like all your artwork's sick, everything you post on Facebook gets like 1 million likes, and then you start doing it and you realise like, I can't do this, like I don't know what I'm doing.
No. And you don't have the time or the skills.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, like to go through that and figure out what you're good at and what you're not good at.
And I think that like dynamic in a band can have a pretty big impact on that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
As in, if you can fluke it and have a dude that likes doing a bit of design, and then everyone jumps on board.
Yeah.
But it's that old saying, like being an artist, which we would say music is an art. Like artists find creating music easy. They don't find having a tough conversation with their band members, or saying, no, we want this much money, or we're only going to play this, and then thinking like, where do we want to be in 3 years, and how are we going to get there? Or I don't know, like even down to like setting up a spreadsheet and saying like, how much money are we putting into this? Yeah. What are we getting out? Like that doesn't get talked about.
Nah, but it's...
You just think, oh yeah, we'll get offered to play a show, we'll do it, we'll record, we'll release, and things happen. Yeah. But it's hard because I think that flow of information probably isn't as accessible.
No, it's not. But to be fair, I mean, I look back now and there were people that we could have hit up for advice.
Oh,
but you just don't think about doing it because you're like, oh, we'll play these shows, we'll get offered that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really always work like that.
No.
I think it's good.
Just I think you have to go like School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Pump through it.
Oh.
I really appreciate your time, Jack.
No, it's all good.
Thanks very much.